Greetings, Clausewitz here. So this is a response actually to a video from I am Shad, and it was about shield bosses. Why is there a shield boss? Which purpose is it for? And so on. And I have to say I'm not agree with you in certain points actually. I agree on you on other points like what you said in the end, why kite shields or later medieval shields or basically kite shields had, some of them had bosses on them because it was like a traditional thing, like we put a boss on it like before, why not? And but your points about a center grip shield with a boss work and what the center grip actually do for the shield, I don't agree on that. I'm not have not the opinion that it's function physically in this way like you argued, and I don't think that this is really the purpose of it or what is really for it. I will just now explain what I think to it, and also I can't be right, and maybe I'm kinda speaking of the same thing as you did and just really recognize it or so, and how I know me, I will discuss this subject later with my roommate, and maybe he gives me some insights where I was like, oh sure, of course. But just my thoughts and my view on the subject, because I think it's not about this the center of gravity thing, because center of gravity isn't actually such an important factor at all. It's just like a summary of different attributes of an object, and so I say it's all about leverage. And I will make a little example here how I mean that. I have here this broken, yeah, okay, it's basically wood, it's wood, and it's basically a stick, is what I want to say. And we have all this point of gravity, point of balance thing here and here as well. Like if I put it here, it's kind of balanced. Now it stays here. And why is it so? And even in this case, it's not the same length, but it's kind of the same mass, and in relation to the length, because now you see the grip is thicker here. But the point is, why does it stand still? It's first of all, I have here my point of rotation. I put a force against here, gravity force comes in over here, and I counter the force enough so that I can hold it in this point in the air. So now I have these two levers, and the gravity pulls on it, and depending on the weight of the levers and in relation also to the length of it, because the length of a lever is influencing its effect, it stands still, because I have like almost equal force on each side. Yeah, you see now like it's because I'm not hitting the point, but you get what I mean. It's the same thing with swords. And where you can see this also is when I hold like the boken more in the middle, like around the point where it would be in balance, and I move it around. It's kind of easy, it's not so the point. I do it, I get exhausted like with everything I do, which costs my energy. And when I now put the hand far to the other side, and I actually now I lengthen the lever here, and when I move it around, it's harder actually, and it's really exhausting in comparison to before, and it's get my strength to it, because now I have this long lever and I put force with this motion in it, and through the length of the lever I actually have higher force here, and this is the reason why actually the point here moving slowly and this point moving faster, and this is the point why a lever hits you harder, and why basically weapons or melee weapons want it to be as long as it could be, because they experience this principle by themselves, and even the Greeks really explained it, knew this point, and we see it in tools and stuff. But this is the point, they understand it principally, the effect. And the point is, I now have to counter this force to stop it and to put it back. And this is what costs me this energy and which slows me down. And what if I put the same energy in here, like in here, and you see it's faster this way, because the levers are relatively short. And so my argument about the shield and the boss is actually, if I would make a big round shield and I would just put a grip on it in the middle and really be a little bit far away or far away than comparison to a boss, I actually would use the shield quite well. It wouldn't be so hard at all, because what I have to do is to wield the mass, and I have to rotate the levers, the mass and or to the end of the levers. And what gets harder surely is when I put like the shield up, or when I wanted to put here, because now I have a longer lever on the side. It would be like if I had a grip and put here now a shield on it. This would be harder if I would, in comparison, I would be on it, because the lever is longer. And especially if I would kind of want to move the wrist, because now the rotation point is right behind here, the wrist, and so from here out the lever counts, the lever counts. So this therefore, and when you hold your shield like up like this, and you mentioned when you put it on the fingertips, like it would fall over, it's because of the leverage. It's because there's mass on the shield, and there is and there are long levers, I can't speak anymore. And now gravity force putting on it, and it goes down, because there isn't enough counter force for it to hold it in place like with this. And when you showed your kite shield, which were in place, it's because, yeah, you're right, because the upper part is so long and so heavy, and you have it here, and this leverage here isn't enough to move the whole thing, but you saw that it gets a little bit more to it, and it stops because now the counter force of the other side of the lever comes in place. But if you would hold this shield, which you actually did, you hold the shield, then it didn't move, because you now countered this leverage forces. And it's the same thing with here. If I would put the boken in here, it stands, okay, yeah, it stands. And if I put it far here, then it fails over, because I extended the lever. But I actually can hold it here in place, and so on. And this is only because I put more force and from different points on it. Like I have the force like I had before from up here, from up here, and now I put force down here as well. And this force also applies on this, because my hand covers in a certain area. So I actually put enough force on this before the rotation point here. Where the rotation point actually is the wrist actually, but I put enough force in here from my arm, from my hand, so I can't hold it despite the fact that it isn't actually in balance. But I put enough force on different parts through my body so it is in balance, and this is the whole point. And so this shouldn't be an issue with the shield if you just put enough force into it to hold it and manipulate it. So, but what I now think is, and now comes the part where I'm not really sure about, but when I put a boss to the shield, I actually connect the wood with the boss and I put the grip on the boss, or sometimes it's sort of like in the boss or part of the whole boss, and out of metal as well. Or in your case you had this big a wooden bar on it, but it would be connected also to the boss eventually. So what now happens is, like, all the levers around what makes the shield, this is all different levers, you now connected them to the middle and to the rotation point itself. So when you kind of rotate your hand, your wrist or your arm, or move your arm, you actually pull on the sides of the boss, and then it applies on the lever. And actually the same thing if you would hold it, and the force, the gravitational force, would pull onto it. So, and when you want to stop it, when you rotate it, like I mentioned with the sword before. So this is, I think, a reason why with a boss, or actually a design which kind of shortens the levers, because if I would just make a plain shield without a boss inside and just put this extra grip on it, I actually now have just, if I would make it very simple, just like one grip with 2 points, I have only these 2 points, and all the levers are connected to these 2 points and not evenly. So I have longer levers on other points, and so it would be more awkward, or not so fast, or more exhausting, or whatsoever. But with this shortened lever, this is maybe a reason why they made sometimes very big bosses, because I want to shorten the levers outside of. This is what I mean. I don't think that they actually understand this in particular, because we see some sheets of them also somewhere else, and they copied it. I think maybe some people figured it out. Maybe Romans figured it out, but I think the Romans also just used shield designs. I just think, plainly speaking, that there were different people trying different things to improve shields in usage, in the handling, in the comfort, in the speed, in how fast I exhaust, and in the strength, and they tried different things. And when they came up with the Sports center grip shield design, they were okay with this design. They liked it. It felt good, and it was easy or comfortably to use. And another point where I think what is the most important part about this grip in the shield, actually. So there's this hollow boss and you grip in the shield. So first of all, you're now aligned with the levers. This is a good thing because the rotation point, and this is what I meant with the length of it. Because if the grip would here, basically now levers applying in here too. And if I put the point of rotation here, this is what I mentioned, like if I put a shield in here and I would then try to move it around. But I wanted to, what do I want to say? I lost really the point. I was, okay. When I inside of the shield, actually, this is my shield, and now here's my grip, and now my boss is here. The point is that if the shield, for example, would move, I have to put it a little bit different, like I would have it here. If the shield, I would move the shield, it would rest on my arm. It would be kind of parallel to the arm, so I could hit easily in this motion you mentioned forward with the rim of the shield, with the edge, and I'm covered also. But if the shield would be more farther away with this design I mentioned, if I would just make a plain shield or so, or even with a boss, but with a grip more in the outside or inside, and actually, what happens now is when you move the shield, it gets open. And with more shorter shields, it shouldn't be such an issue, but I think I saw it with some bucklers, because some buckler grips were a little bit further away, that you really saw that the buckler was like this really, and not this. And this would be an issue. Now you have a bigger opening in the front, and you wouldn't be aligning the punch, so you actually have to aim it differently for it, and this would be influence your fighting style. And to make this boss out of metal when you grip into the shield is just, I think, the most easiest thing to do, because you can form this metal in this shape, and it is resistance, it is strong enough also to get some hits. So if you would make it out of something like I thought of, I don't even think you can make it properly out of bones, for example, because you really need like a skull for it and then to carve it, and if you would glue something, it would be too weak, you would have these weak points. And if you would make it out of wood, it's the same thing. You had to bend the wood, like when you do basically in some shield designs or in bows, or for example something like this, and putting actually stress to it, and it would be something you have to do in terms of work. Maybe not so much, or maybe as much as with metal. But the thing is, the wood can weaken, the wood can split, the wood can be chopped away. And during combat, I think that is really disadvantage, because now you have this wooden boss in front, and it would catch blades because it is something which stands out, so it would get more damage on this. And I would imagine that people would start to hit the middle and to really want to chop through it, to maybe hit your hand or stab through it. And so I think this is the reason why they made it out of metal. Maybe this is the reason why it came in the first place. They wanted to make better hand protection. This could be the motivation of a smith, of a shield maker, or of a warrior or whatever, that he just thought by himself, I don't want something to punch through my hand and stuff like that, because this is actually really the weak point, because it doesn't move away when something comes in. When something comes here and it bends, so it doesn't bend, but it's moved, so there is what force gets away, and when the force is enough to penetrate the shield, actually there is room behind it, so that you won't be hit in the most cases. But actually, if something goes through in here, it could break your hands, your fingers basically, it could slice into it, could cut through into it, and horrible stuff. And I don't claim that is the reason. I could imagine it is some of the reasons. We can't know it. It's too complex, too far away to really. But I think this is a likely variant. And I just want to say, I think this is the way the boss works actually, and that it's just the most comfortable, most practical with his openings I mentioned, and the best effect they experienced. And so they did it again and did it again, and some other copied it. Maybe there were some people who understand it principle and try to improve it on this way, and other copied than this, and it was effective enough. And so yeah, this is just my opinion, and actually I agree with your last point in your video that why there were bosses on kite shields, actually because out of tradition. But I think I mentioned this in the beginning, I can't remember actually. So alright, this is my opinion on it, and see you soon.